Hey guys, Deathbyphiw here. I'm almost a day late with the Overwatch 2 retail patch notes, but I'm going to go through them. We're going to talk about things. I'm going to share you my thoughts on what I think is going to be coming out of these patch notes and what may happen, especially with the hero balance. So, stick around. First and foremost, limited time mode, a clash trial. So, this is a new game mode and it should be very interesting. So if you haven't already, play the game and get into a clash trial game mode. It is supposedly supposed to be super fun. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, anything could be better than push and flashpoint at this point. So I'm hoping it works out. I hope it makes sense and I hope we enjoy it. Basically, there's 5 total objectives placed in a linear pattern on a mirrored map. Only one objective is active at a time, so it's almost kind of like a king of the hill. Like, you got to go to this point and fight over it until you claim it, and then you can move on to the next one. You start with the center objective active. Players capture an objective by standing on it and filling in a progress bar. You cannot make any progress on it if there's enemies on that objective. When you do capture the current objective, you're rewarded 1 point to their total score, and a new objective moving forward from the scoring team side is activated. Objectives can be secured multiple times. If a team is pushed off an objective and the other team successfully captures it, the next active point will be in the opposite direction. So it's kind of like tug of war in a way. You start at the center, you capture the center, and you move forward one. And then they can if you're the defending team now, kind of push back that point because you won a point, or the enemy team won a point and push you back. You could win that point and then move forward back to the middle. So I'm thinking there's definitely going to probably be a time limit. I haven't played the new season yet, but there's probably going to be a time limit and some way to settle a draw. Like if you're stuck in the middle and nobody has any points, like whoever's the last one on that to win it wins it. Like that's how it's settled. I think that's how it's going to be played out. Seems rather interesting. So actually they do mention the win conditions here. So a team has successfully captured 5 objectives through the match to reach a total score of 5. Regardless of score, a team manages to take the final objective, A or E, on the opponent's side. Hanaoka is a new map, so it's a mixture of Hanamura from Overwatch 1, one of my favorite maps, and it's finally back. I think the aesthetics on this map is gorgeous, so I'm very, very much so looking forward to playing the map. I think you all should enjoy it. It's probably going to be a visual masterpiece. Mythic hero skin update. So obviously you can get the new Mercy Mythic and work towards that with prisms. So they introduced Mythic prisms, a cash grab from Blizzard, but it's fine. They got to make money. You earn towards your Mythic to get different versions of the Mercy Mythic skin. And also you have other Mythic skins in the Mythic shop for all the previous Mythic skins. Not all of them, but the older ones like Kiriko or Sigma and whatnot. So cool that you could earn those mythics back. So it's going to be pretty cool that you could do that. There's general updates to challenges. So, completing those weekly challenges will now earn you XP towards your battle pass, which is pretty cool. You could also get Overwatch coins that were earned in the weekly challenges. They can now be earned in the battle pass for all players, and they reduced the number of weekly challenges. I'm not sure why they did that. I kind of like the weekly challenges sometimes, just looking at something to earn, but maybe just to reduce the amount of XP you earn from them. I don't know. We're simplifying what players can aim to accomplish while also making earning battle XP more straightforward. All right. Endorsement changes. I mentioned this in the previous video. So now there's an endorsement level 0. It's no longer the lowest being number 1. And endorsement level 0 is essentially you cannot text or voice chat features until you return to endorsement level 1. So before you would get a chat ban and you'd go down to level 1, but now we know who has a chat ban when their endorsement level is 0. So if you see one in your game with a 0 and why they're not in your game chat, it's because they're toxic. Be better. Get better. Don't be toxic. All right, I get it. Every now and then we get mad. I understand. Every now and then we get mad. And I hide my name feature. So this is just for like update to streamer protect. And maybe if you are getting people who are harassing you in game and you get them multiple games in a row, you could protect your name with this and it'll give you a different name. Outside of the hide my name, it'll show you like some new different random name, and those folks can still get reported even though you can't see their name. Blizzard on the back end can see them, so your reports go through. Do not worry, it's not hiding anything from them on the back end. So this is just something to upgrade the streamer protect feature. Progression, so now we have progression badges for venture, so you can now earn rewards for venture and progress that hero. And lever penalties. I talked about this a bit in one of my previous videos. I do not agree with harsh quick play lever penalties, and they made the other ones kind of less harsh, but the long-term ones, like if you leave 10 out of 20 games, very harsh. Like you get a 48-hour suspension from queuing for most modes. So that's pretty crazy in my opinion. But it is what it is. Maybe it'll adjust it and make it a little more lenient overall. Same thing with competitive play, which I agree. Competitive should be more harsh. Like there really shouldn't be too much of quick play lever penalties. But it's quick play, but competitive, I completely agree. I hate when people leave my games. Great. They can get a season ban now. Wonderful. No more throwers intentionally leaving games and throwing games so that their rank decays and goes down. This is wonderful. It stops that or tries to hinder that as much as possible. So I think this is great. They will suspend players. Leaving 10 games in competitive play will suspend them from the season. It will be a complete season ban in comp. This is an amazing, amazing thing. Thank you, Blizzard devs. This is a great change for comp. So there's been some competitive updates. So there's competitive role specific titles. It will now include the rank, include the role the rank was achieved in. So your end of season titles for competitive role queue. So example, champion tank, champion support, champion damage, and open queue champion. It'll add that into your name. So that's pretty, I guess, a little small, pretty cool thing. So if you like the name, you can now have your role in there. So I'm a diamond role champion, whatever. It's pretty cool. Each competitive progress, each role rank card now displays the associated competitive role specific title. Role rank cards can now be selected to open the match history for the selected role. Match history will display the following map: game mode, heroes, role, date, score, results of the match. Match history can now be selected to open the game report for a match. So making the interface a little bit easier to use, because quite frankly, I think the game interface for Overwatch is one of the worst in a big franchise, big name, big company run game. I think it's not very user friendly and it doesn't have as much data as I would like to see, but I'm having to click into different screens. So this is making it a little bit easier to see all that. Grouping restrictions. So great. You want to do a wide group, you can. So wide group being you have to have either 3 or 5 people in your group, and it could be anyone from any rank from bronze to GM. The group is so wide as far as rank, you won't get any really much competitive increase or competitive loss from it. So like your adjustment would be like probably super minimal if you win or lose the game, if 0. If that at all. Like you may get 1 or 2% depending on how big your rank difference is. Also, when you're solo queuing, thank God, now I no longer get these 3 stacks or 4 stacks in my game as a solo queue, and you're dealing with these jerks who are not in team comms or super toxic towards you. So now I will only get usually solo queue or at most 2 duo queues, 2 completely separate duo queues. So this is great. I think solo queue will feel a lot more better. So you solo queue demons like me, this is good for us. And I think the wide queue thing, I mean, it's great in a way for solo and duo queue players, but it's really going to hurt those 3 stacks and 5 stacks, and also 4 stacks no longer exist. I think those queue times are going to be pretty nuts if your rank is, very different from each other. So the closer you are in rank, I think the queues will be higher, but it will not be as high if, like, let's say you're silver DPS and you have like a diamond or master support player and like a diamond DPS player. So try to keep your ranks closer to keep those queue times lower. So rank information, new modifier Y. This modifier reduces changes in rank progress when winning or losing matches. So that's what I said. The wider your group, the less your rank progress will change with each win or loss. So don't be afraid. You want to queue up your bronze friend and you're a GM player or a Masters player, you probably won't get any sort of reduction if you lose the game. And win as well. The modifier volatile has been renamed to demotion. Arrows displayed under the modifiers have changed to the point from left to right instead of right to left. New modifier demotion protection. This modifier appears on the rank progress bar to note when you did not go down in skill division because of a loss. If you lose the next match after, then you drop down to the previous skill division. Victory and defeat have been added below the rank progress bar where modifiers are displayed. So some little image changes. Golden weapons. You can now purchase golden weapons with either legacy or 2024 competitive points. You cannot purchase weapons with a combination of both currencies. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I think the golden weapon skins are way better looking than these jade skins. I really don't like the color of the jade skins. I really don't like the way they look at all. So take it as it is. That's my personal opinion. You like them. That's great. I think the golden weapons are way cooler. Obviously Venture's out and she got some nerfs, and I talked about that in another previous video where she's now available to all, free to all, and also they reduced her damage where they made it not instant, her damage with her melee, and with her drill dash they made it damage over time, kind of like Ana's ability where her primary fire, she shoots somebody, it does 70 damage, but it's not 70 instant damage, it's 70 damage over like, I don't know, a quarter or half second. The same thing would apply to Venture, because oftentimes, like if you had a squishy like a Widowmaker, a Life Weaver, or like a Tracer, she could one-shot her with a combo of like her primary fire, her drill dash, and melee would instantly kill any 200 like HP target, or take another 250 HP target down to like, I think 10 or 5 HP. It was really broken in close range. I don't think she's broken as a hero. I think she's pretty good, not completely balanced, kind of strong in my opinion, especially in certain situations, but it definitely does change her aspect a little bit, her aspect of play. It doesn't make her like this immediately burst up close damage hero that just takes away like Tracer in blink of an eye. Tanks, Doomfist got some change to his Rocket Punch, so the Empower Punch is no longer consumed when the windup is cancelled by using Seismic Slam or Power Block. This is obviously a quality of life improvement for Doomfist. This makes him a little bit easier to play between the transition of charging up and Empowered Rocket Punch and another ability by removing the requirement and pressing the cancel input first. So it makes it a little bit quicker, maybe a half second quicker or quarter second quicker to get that combo out. Junker Queen, Carnage, impact damage increase from 90 to 105. I'm curious to see how this plays out. This may push Junker Queen up. I know it's just 15 damage, but from like a low B tier kind of hero to possibly A tier. She might be pushed into the meta. So we'll see how it plays out into the season. We'll probably do some tier list in a week or so. So we'll see. Reinhardt, Earthshatter. Reinhardt's still F tier, guys. I just made a video out earlier today. Reinhardt needs a complete and total rework. He needs so many things changed with him to make him better. If you don't watch my video, watch it. Trust me, watch it. It's terrible how bad Reinhardt is. Knockdown duration increased from 2.75 to 3 seconds. Oh, wow. The enemy's going to get Suzu'd or lamped or pulled by a Life Weaver anyway, or ulted by somebody like Lucio or Transcendence from Zen. Like, doesn't matter. That extra quarter second. Shockwave range increased from 20 to 25 meters. So basically, if Reinhardt shatters and there's nothing blocking it, and he doesn't get hit with some sort of stun, or get hit with an Ana sleep dart, and he actually gets his ultimate off without dying, right? You're probably gonna get shattered. Okay? Buff Rein. Rework Rein. Sigma, experimental barrier, movement speed increased from 16.5 to 20 meters per second. This is an interesting change. I didn't think Sigma really needed any updates. I always think Sigma's in the mix of playing tanks, whether or not he's the meta or not. He's always kind of like a decent tank to pick. Kind of boring to play in my opinion, but this makes him a little bit better. Wrecking Ball, I mean, he goes from the worst tank to the best tank to a patch where he becomes like one of the worst tanks again. And now they're trying to figure out how to balance him. So they're doing something, this little minor rework here with his grappling claw, change the way you use it. And his adaptive shield is the biggest change here. You can now reactivate and redistribute 300 HP up to 75 HP per hero to your team. That's pretty crazy. And the radius to detect that is from 10 to 13 meters. His minefield health is increased from 50 to 60, so it makes his mines a little bit stronger. I don't know, is Ball back to being hard meta? Is he S tier again? I have no clue, but this might be some pretty game-breaking stuff, and I gotta see how it plays out. I think it will make Ball kind of good. Maybe broken, we'll see. Damage, good. Sombra, nobody freaking cares about Sombra. Delete her from the game. If they went in this update and said Sombra has been deleted from the game, great, wonderful. Everybody's lives is better. Even the Sombra player, the Sombra mains player, the Sombra one-trick player is better off with Sombra being removed from the game. However, it's her virus damage has been decreased back to what it was before the patch, when she didn't need a buff because she was strong. She got that nerf back, and she still probably is very viable and very good. So it's been decreased to 100 to 90. Tracer recall cooldown increased from 12 to 13, and pulse bomb base projectile size decreased from 0.2 to 0.1 meters. The total projectile size now 0.25 meters. Honestly, these aren't the changes that Tracer needed, but it does help out with how broken she is a little bit. 1 second cooldown could mean a big deal in a fight, and her projectile size to land her pulse bomb, her ultimate, decreasing makes it a little bit harder to hit. So you have to be a little bit more risky to hit it, or just better at aiming to get that off and sticky someone. But I still do think like you needed to nerf her range again and make her damage fall off greater from a distance. I think she should do full damage like within like 7 or 8 meters, maybe a little less, and then have that damage taper off a little bit as you get to like 10 meters on. Venture, I mentioned the changes, but here's the specifics. Her impact damage for her drill dash decreased from 60 to 40, and then the damage over time increased from 40 to 60. So it's not an instant 60 damage. You can now do up to 100 damage with it. So almost like a burn, a status effect on you. So I'm sure it'll show that status effect. It can be something likely cleansed by Suzu from Kiriko. And the same thing with her clobber. Her melee is really strong, and it got decreased from 40 to 30, and now it does damage over time instead of 30 to 40. So pretty interesting stuff. Sonic shock, vertical knockback decreased by 30%. So they're redistributing some damage around from instant damage to damage over time, and changing a little bit of her ultimate because it was kind of really strong. Support power creep is a real thing. I'm a support main. Sorry, support players, if you're watching this, but we need some changes. We need to do something because supports are just all in all always very powerful since Overwatch 2 came out. So Alari's getting some changes to her primary fire, so that time to shoot your bullets is increasing from 0.2 to 0.25, and her healing is going up from 105 to 115 because she's kind of struggling now. Once you kill her pylon, it's, you know, she has a 15-meter range like Zarya's primary fire to heal, and it's not really so good in the current meta. Lucio Sonic Amplifier, they're just nerfing his damage a little bit from 20 to 18 because he's really strong and a hard meta right now across all ranks, even though I do feel like he's a little bit more difficult to get good with, and he's very fun to play. But his sound wave, the damage increase is from 35 to 45. So if you're getting up close and doing damage, you're now being rewarded for it instead of just shooting from a little bit of safety and riding your walls and shooting people. Lifeweaver, rejuvenating dash, heal increase from 50 to 60. Lifeweaver does need some buffs, in my opinion. I do not think it should have gone to the Tree of Life, though. Pulse healing increase from 75 to 90. I think what Lifeweaver excels at is his healing capabilities with his ultimate. He lacked survivability, which they did with his dash. They increased it to make it a little bit better. His biggest issue is his ability, his time to dish out his heals from his primary fire. And also, I don't think they gave him that's what I would have changed. Like, he does quite a bit of damage with his primary fire, or we call it his secondary fire because it's not his healing ability, but he didn't have survivability. So this dash increase I think is a little bit better to help him out. the Tree of Life was already a really good ultimate. I just think they need to decrease his time to dish out his primary heals from 1.15 back to what it was to 1 second. And that would have made him pretty much okay. Moira, I talked about this from the get-go. The second I found out that Moira was getting her damage increased from 50 to 65, I ran the percentages. She got a 15 damage increase against the new hero health pools and the increase across the spectrum. Her damage percentage increase in comparison to the new health increase was actually a buff, right? I said they need to nerf it down by like at least 5 to put it on par with what her previous damage was prior to the HP pool buff. So that's what they're doing here. They realize she's very strong right now. She's the third best support behind Lucio and Kiriko. Lucio being the best, number 1, numero uno, and Kiriko being the second best, numero due. I'm Italian. I speak some Italian. All right. A little bit of that dual citizen flair here. But yeah, they really needed to change that. So they did. This coalescence self-heal per second increase from 50 to 55. She already has a ton of survivability. I didn't think they needed to do that, but it's a minor change as well. We'll see how it plays out. I still do think Moira is going to be pretty much like in the top 3 or 4 supports. And then, of course, there's a bunch of bug fixes. You can take a look at these bug fixes and let me know if you see anything there that's interesting. I'm not going to go through it because this video is already long enough. And yes, I did get a fresh haircut and a beard trim. And it may be nice to look at my big fat head for a certain amount of time, but not too long. All right. Anyways, if you haven't already, please make sure to like this video. Comment in the comment section below. What changes do you like the most in this patch notes? Do you agree or disagree with some of my opinions in this video? Let me know in the comments below. Also, share this with a friend because you play Overwatch, so you probably don't have many friends like me either. So share it with somebody you don't know, so maybe you'll make a friend. Got it? And then subscribe to my YouTube channel because it really does help me out tremendously. I appreciate it so much. Guys, my birthday has a 19 and an 80 in it, all right? I'm old. Help this soon to be boomer out, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really does mean a lot to me. And as always, happy gaming.